In spending a day one-to-one with a client recently, the subject of dealing with difficult people came up. Indeed, it was couched in terms of dealing with conflict in an organisational sense. Although indeed there is enough conflict in the world outside the framework of an organisation. There's conflict on a global scale, there's conflict in relationships, and indeed there is inner conflict. But the conflict I want to deal with in the course of these couple of minutes in this video is how one deals with difficult people, how one deals with the resultant conflict that arises. The point I made to the client is that if you are mindful, if you have a mind to better yourself and your life, you need to get used to the idea that you should be intolerant. Now, he raised his eyebrows when I said that, because an awful lot of political correctness nowadays says that we should be tolerant of race, of creed, of behaviour, of different people's points of view. Now, I'm not suggesting that we be intolerant of race or creed or different people's point of view. What I am suggesting is that we be intolerant of inappropriate behaviour. And God knows there's a lot of inappropriate behaviour around. As I said to the client in question, had Hitler's inappropriate behaviour when he carried out the beer hall putsch in Munich in 1923 been dealt with forcefully and appropriately at the time, we wouldn't have had the Second World War we had. Now, we might have had another global conflagration, but we wouldn't have had that particular war, nor would people have had to appease Hitler in the run-up to that war, nor would 7 million people have died in Europe during that war. The point I'm making is that inappropriate behaviour should be nipped in the bud. Now, inappropriate behaviour is going on all the time, from the simple rudeness of people, and there's a lot of rudeness and bad manners around, to the manner in which people talk to each other, treat each other, to the manner in which people do little things that they think they can get away with in a relationship or at work. Now, why do people think they can get away with these little inappropriate things? Nobody has told them otherwise. People have to be told what's what. People have to be told what's what in a clear and concise fashion, not in a confrontational manner, not in a manner which actually brings about more inappropriate behaviour. But if somebody is behaving inappropriately in your life, better to stop them in their tracks early on, before, having given them an inch, they take a mile. Because that is how inappropriate behaviour, small at first, mushrooms into something so great that it causes pain in people's lives. If I'm clear in my mind, if I'm clear and present, I will know when inappropriate behaviour is happening, and I will know how to deal with it in the gentlest and most effective possible way. If I'm not clear and present in my mind, I'll let little things pass, or indeed I may behave inappropriately myself. And so the whole thing snowballs, a bit like the snow over my shoulder at the moment. Things need to be stopped before they get out of hand. If you actually stop things before they get out of hand, you actually create a better environment, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And in closing this particular little session, I might quote Nelson Mandela, because Nelson Mandela makes the point that if we are present, we give those around us permission to be present themselves, permission to liberate themselves from their own, and I'm slightly misquoting here, but it makes my point, permission to liberate themselves from their own inappropriate behaviour. We're all in this together after all, and the more we can pull together rather than against each other, the more effective, happy and successful we will be. Now, in order to ensure that that actually has a chance of succeeding, you need, as is mentioned throughout this website, you need to be clear and present. You need to manage your own mind. You need to ensure that when you spot yourself behaving inappropriately, you stop yourself. Then you set off a different chain reaction, you set off a different chain of events, and the world including your life, might just be a better place.